Hi, everybody. Yes, it is an unserious baseball team shirt. Yes, I will be putting these to print tomorrow. If anybody wants them, go right ahead. But before we do that, I want to welcome you into the Bastards post game show here. We have lots to talk about tonight. I'm smiling. I shouldn't be, but we have lots to cover. I am Nick. We have Brendan, who is brave enough to also be here this evening in his yellow shirt.
Yep.
How you doing?
Oh, Nick, we're in a tough hour nowadays. The Sox are
I'm gonna bring it up a
really
little bit. There we go. Just gonna make sure my point is across. There we go.
there's no better point to make. This team is staring at the brink of devastation right now, Nick. We just lost number 2 against the Toronto Blue Jays in a must-win series. You wanted to sweep them. Now it's looking like, can you take one? Oh my God! If there was ever a time to feel this, it's now for Red Sox Nation.
I think the best. See, I'm speechless just with how this has gone right now. But I do have to say that you were kind of seeing a little bit of, in a way, not doomsday, but the struggle of what this series might do when you knew it was going to be two openers right off the bat. You knew you had Paxton for a game one, which was Friday night, but then Saturday and Sunday going both with that opener scared the living daylights out of me. And today you got John Schreiber. And anybody who follows my tweets and everything, please understand I like these players. I like the Red Sox. I want them to win. I want them to do as best they can. But like I've said to you guys many times, and Brendan does this as well, we shoot from the hip. If there's something that we see as a take that we want to talk about and we have a gut reaction to something, I am absolutely going to do it. And I right off the bat said John Schreiber is not an opener for a baseball team, for a starting pitcher. And you want to be a serious baseball team? Unserious baseball team. That's what I look at from this whole series right now. You turned it over to Pivetta. Pivetta was not his typical self. He was not as sharp. He was a little wild. His control was a little bit all over the place and everything. And, the Blue Jays took advantage to that. Raffy Devers, I guess he's great on the links for as a golfer because he absolutely imploded on a slurve that came
Oh
from
yeah.
Barrios into right field. So it got me going. I'm like, all right, we're going to come back. It's 3-3. We're going to make this a game. Let's keep going. But then you see questionable decisions again on bullpen management from Cora. We hadn't seen Bernardino in a while. I had thought that Bernardino might have been hurt or might have been the opener today. That wasn't the case. I probably would have went with Bernardino if he was able to go and put Schreiber more back into a setup kind of role that he's more accustomed to. But no, Bernardino comes in and he just was not his typical self, rusty naturally because he hadn't thrown in, I think it was 4 or 5 days. That's too long sometimes for him. Winkowski comes in. He's been getting out of everybody's jams. He's been doing the Houdini act, which has been great. But then the ninth inning comes and Joe Jakes comes back in. What is going on? I don't care if you're down 4-3. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable baseball. I don't know what you thought of that, but I was pissed.
Yeah, Nick, the fascination with Joe Jenks in the clutch situations have really thrown me for a loop. Last night we were talking about Nick Pivetta and whether he would be in this game or not, if he would have a significant role. I was thinking actually your take was probably not. They're going to save him for Sunday. And then Cora throws him in today and he's not ready for it. He gives up 6 hits and 3 runs. You hate to see that. I was thinking more of the Winkowski. He came in to bail the Sox out, but I thought he was going to pitch a bulk set of innings, which unfortunately, I've had question marks on Cora's decision making this whole season. Sometimes it looks really good, but other times, wow, just not good at all. And you really hate to see it coming from the Sox and the management of that bullpen because that's your strength for this team. And and really, if there was ever a time for Sox Nation to be livid, it's now because you didn't make a move at the deadline and you've been living off these openers
You
And
got Luis Arias, though. Don't worry. Luis Arias is here. He's
oh
your
my God.
savior.
When you needed it most, when you needed to make a move the most for this series right now, there's nothing going on. And oh my God, you're seeing this bullpen be exposed because of how taxed they are.
Brutally honest.
This doesn't
folks.
work. This
Brutally
doesn't
honest.
work. The thing about the Bastards of Boston baseball, it's authentic sports takes. It's not generated. This
You
is
can
what
hate
we
us all you
see.
want. We shoot
This
from the
is
hip.
we say what we see, and we're not going to be brainwashed by Brian O'Halloran, Sam Kennedy, or Heim Bloom on next year. I'm talking about what I'm seeing right now, and I'm not happy. I'm not happy right now.
That was step one that we talked about. Step two, Alex Cora, obviously with the management of the bullpen. But number two, the big whopper of the day was Verdugo was in the original lineup. He was scratched. Turns out Verdugo was 2 hours late. There is a lot of issues going on with this guy. I am sick and tired of people continuing to harp on the fact that, oh, it's time to just give him the contract and make him feel better. Just give him the $80 million for 6 years or whatever it is, or 5 years. Don't worry, he'll start playing better. You people out of your minds? Are you out of your minds? That's what you want out there? The guy's been hitting $140 for about a month and a half. And that's what you want?
This kid is in his contract coming up, and he showed
Guy's
off
a head case.
In the beginning. He was feeling himself. He was hitting first in the lineup, and he was batting like over 300, and it looked really good. And then he really crashed down to earth, and he has not been reliable at all. And nerds like Mulliken will tell you it's because he's being shifted around the lineup. He can't bat first. He can't. He's an easy out. That's one thing that I defend on Cora is where Verdugo is right now.
I also give Cora credit for today for doing a move that he doesn't traditionally do. He's such a player's manager. He wants everybody to love him. Well, there's no love in that clubhouse today, and you finally were able to see some fireworks from Cora post-game. And if you haven't seen it, I highly suggest you do, just with him expressing to the media that this was his worst day of being a Red Sox manager ever since he took over the team in 2018. Very telling. The next thing I want to talk about is the atrocious fundamentals, base running, decision-making skills that these players on this team have. Okay, we have somewhat of a rally going in the ninth inning. We have a runner on second, runner on third. Reese McGuire was up. Connor Wong hits the ball, going to the wall. It looked like it may have gone out. Less than 2 outs. Brendan, can you enlighten us and tell us what you're supposed to do on the bases, please?
Like, guys, you have to have actual presence on the base path. You have to be cognizant of what's going on. How many outs you have. Tag up and then keep going.
Do not go until you know exactly what happens with the freaking baseball. Well, lo and behold, the ball does not end up hitting the wall. It doesn't go over the wall. It's short. It's caught. The ball gets thrown to second base. It's a double play, and the Red Sox go off to their pity party and cry because they end up losing a game that they should not have.
It's a pure sense of
Blue Jays gave to you. They gave that to you, and you couldn't take that gift that they were giving you and win. So now you are last in the division. You are now, is it 3 or 4? I think it's 3 games back in the wild card. The Yankees overtook you today. Round of applause.
It's well pure desperation. Desperation on the base path, and it cost them this game. And it's cost them multiple games before.
Many times. It's one of the worst fundamental teams I have ever seen. And I've coached many, many levels of baseball, and this is worse than my 2014 T-ball team that I helped assistant coach for. Last point I want to break. We have one more game against the lovely Blue Jays tomorrow. That's tomorrow afternoon. We have another opener. Surprise, surprise, up against Chris Bassett. We'll see what happens from there. We want to make sure we keep it at 10. So, Brendan, we'll talk about it tomorrow. We will see you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.